Bill Spencer gives Grace Buckingham $1 million for Liam's experimental surgery. Bill Spencer gives Dr. Grace Buckingham $1 million for Liam's experimental brain surgery. But her odd relief suggests that there are underlying financial problems and maybe fraud. Bill's $1 million bet could be Grace's biggest con in Bold and Beautiful. Is Grace Buckingham running the biggest medical scam ever? Bill Spencer just did the most desperate thing he's ever done, and it could cost him more than money. The media billionaire wired a jaw-dropping $1 million to Dr. Grace Buckingham for an experimental procedure that could save Liam Spencer's life. But what everyone is talking about is how Grace seemed way too happy when the money came into her account. And we mean much too happy. The red flag worth $1 million. Let's talk about what happened down. Liam is suffering an incurable brain tumor, and Bill is doing what any desperate father would do, throwing money at the situation. But Grace's reaction to getting that payment? It screamed financial pressure, loudly than a Forrester fashion show announcement. This isn't simply about a doctor getting paid for a dangerous surgery. Grace broke procedure. She pushed for this experimental procedure when other doctors, notably Dr. John Finnegan and Bridget Forrester, were raising eyebrows. They realize something's not adding up here, and honestly, so do we. The Buckingham family curse strikes again. Here's when things become very fascinating. Grace isn't just any doctor. She's the ex-wife of Dr. Reese Buckingham, the same person who engineered that infamous baby swap back in 2018 to pay off $200,000 in gambling debts. Remember that scandal? He really stole Hope Logan's kid and sold it to pay off loan sharks. Now his ex-wife is suddenly desperate for money, and she just happens to have $1 million experimental surgery option for Bill's son? The timing is strange. The behavior is suspicious. Everything about this screams con job. Why fans are freaking out? The soap opera community is bustling with theories, and they're not pretty. Some viewers think Grace is flat out lying about Liam's illness. Others say she's exaggerating how terrible the tumor is only to obtain that sweet, sweet Spencer cash. But here's what really has viewers upset. Grace is the only African-American woman on the program right now, and they're contemplating turning her into a villain. That's not settling well with a number of fans who are calling out the writers for falling into harmful storytelling habits. The dominoes are already falling. Bill could be blinded by desperation, but Finn and Bridget aren't. These two medical specialists are already side-eyeing Grace's approaches. They've discovered she's breaching conventional protocols. They've questioned why this experimental surgery is suddenly the only choice. And let's not forget, Bill has a history of uncovering when people are playing him. Remember his phony affair with Sheila Carter to bring her to justice? The man knows how to recognize a swindle. It's only a matter of time until he starts asking the hard questions. What happens when the truth comes out? If Grace is operating a fraud, and all evidence point to yes, she's about to learn what happens when you cross Dollar Bill. We're talking about a man who once demolished a building with his own son inside. A man who's manufactured relationships with psychopaths to achieve justice. A man who doesn't play when it comes to his money or his children. The ramifications might be catastrophic. Grace might lose her medical license. She could face criminal prosecution. And if this is tied to Reese's prior gambling debts, we might see some dangerous folks coming out of the woodwork. But here's the real kicker. What if Liam doesn't even need this surgery? What if he wakes up and realizes his father just paid $1 million for a needless procedure? The Spencer family drama would reach nuclear levels. The storm that's coming. This narrative is classic, bold, and beautiful family devotion meets dishonesty, desperation meets money, and everyone's holding secrets that are poised to burst. Bill's protective impulses have made him vulnerable. Grace's financial worries have turned her dangerous. And poor Liam is caught in the center of what could be the largest medical scandal in Los Angeles. With Finn and Bridget already skeptical, it's just a matter of time until someone starts probing into Grace's genuine reasons. Will they realize she's been lying about Liam's condition? Will they unearth connections to Reese's criminal past? Or will the surgery go tragically wrong, leaving Bill with nothing but remorse and $1 million hole in his bank account? One thing's for certain. When the truth about Grace Buckingham's genuine intention comes to light, the Spencer family will never be the same. And if she's playing Bill Spencer for a fool? Well, let's just say she picked the wrong billionaire to mess with. New mystery doctor joins B&B, who's giving Liam second chance at life? The bold and the beautiful spoilers claim that a new mystery doctor is joining B&B, so fans will finally find out who's giving Liam Spencer a second chance at life. First, Grace Buckingham will get Liam into a new experimental treatment after Bill Spencer delves into his riches. We'll see Grace feeling relieved over $1 million transfer message on her phone. Grace will perform an initial surgery, but there'll be more steps to follow if Liam expects to heal. Liam will have to head to a private clinic for the rest of his experimental treatment program, and there'll be a new doctor for Liam to work with once he arrives. There's no news on who this doctor is just yet, so it'll be intriguing to learn who's behind the scheme that could help Liam survive. Although this whole situation seems terribly sketchy, Bill won't care as long as it gives Liam the potential of beating his brain tumor. Of course, there are some reasons to be concerned given Grace looks so disturbed lately. It looks someone may be blackmailing Grace into rounding up patients like Liam for this experimental treatment. That could suggest the new doctor has a nasty side and isn't really an altruistic figure who only wants to help people. This may be more about the money than anything else. But B&B obviously wouldn't be creating this plot if it wasn't building to Liam's survival. Even if there are some ulterior intentions involved, this new doctor's experimental treatment could deliver Liam the life-saving outcomes he needs. Since Bill is paying for everything and arranging the arrangements, that'll offer him an opportunity to make apologies for getting Luna Nozawa out of prison. Bill can also make up for other past mistakes with Liam and strive to do a better job with their father-son bond moving ahead. Since this mystery doctor should make his or her debut soon, we'll be sure to provide you updates on any important casting news. Emergency surgery for Liam? The bold and the beautiful spoilers for Tuesday, July 15th, 2025 indicate another terrible day when Liam's life is on the line. Liam's sacrifice. Liam Spencer played the hero with a brain tumor and got shot for his troubles when Luna Nozawa's gun went off during a scuffle, and he stood up and shot Luna point blank in the chest nevertheless. Now Luna is dead and Liam is fighting for his life while Sheila Carter only has 8 toes. What a mess. Now, Grace Buckingham is compelled to put Liam back into surgery. But is it because to his bullet wound or his brain tumor? Liam is in such horrible form that it's impossible to determine what part of him is breaking apart now. Steffi Forrester Finnegan and Hope Logan are over themselves as Liam takes a turn for the worse. Read this, the bold and the beautiful spoilers. Liam rushed to surgery while Grace demands control. Bill's demands. Dollar Bill Spencer may be in much worse shape emotionally than Steffi and Hope. He knows he is very much to fault for what transpired. If it weren't for him, Luna would still be behind jail or, at the absolute least, on house arrest. She surely could not have shot his son if Luna were still incarcerated in any way. Now it's a waiting game as Grace tries desperately to save Liam. She has been determined to keep him alive for as long as possible. But does that mean she may have found a solution to deal with the tumor? Does Bill now know his son has a tumor and has been withholding that knowledge from him for months? That would merely make Bill feel even more terrible if he discovers when the signs of the tumor first started to manifest. It was after the major blow-up he had with Liam in his living room months ago. Bill can't believe that all of this insanity was happening right under his sight, and he was too blind to stop it. Now, while he waits for news on Liam, he may learn that he is too late to say goodbye to his son. Bill Spencer and Poppy Nozawa face community fury over Luna's death. Bold and beautiful spoilers show Bill Spencer and Poppy Nozawa face significant criticism as the whole Los Angeles community blames them for Luna's fatal spree. hospital confrontations, and unexpected reactions ahead. Bold and beautiful spoilers. Bill Spencer becomes town pariah as Luna's death sparks community fury. Hospital hallways turn into battlegrounds as entire Los Angeles unites against Dollar Bill. The repercussions from Luna Nozawa's violent rampage has changed Bill Spencer from powerful billionaire to public enemy number one. In horrifying moments that left viewers dumbfounded, the whole Los Angeles neighborhood has turned their backs on the man who abetted a killer and are not holding back their rage. The blame game reaches fever pitch. What happens when your misguided attempt to protect someone leads to bloodshed? Bill Spencer is finding out the hard way. After obtaining Luna's release from prison to house detention at his estate, Bill assumed he was safeguarding his daughter. Big error. Huge. The hospital confrontations have been very terrible. Steffi Forrester led the charge, and when she confronts someone, you know it's going to be dramatic. She didn't mince words. Bill's choice to free Luna directly led to Liam Spencer battling for his life in a hospital bed. The typically cool co-CEO was virtually trembling with wrath as she went into Bill about his role in this calamity. But here's where it gets really heated. It's not just the Forresters who want Bill's head on a platter. The Logans, the medical personnel, even random hospital visitors are giving him the cold shoulder. One source at the hospital recalled the scene. You could cut the tension with a knife. People were practically turning their backs when Bill walked by. Poppy's shocking reaction adds fuel to the fire. If you thought Bill's predicament was awful, Poppy Nozawa's attitude to her daughter's death has others questioning her humanity. When Lee Finnegan questioned her sister about Luna's upbringing, Poppy unleashed a bombshell that has the entire soap world shook. I'm glad my daughter's dead. Yes, you read that properly. A mother genuinely said those words. About her own child. Lee's reaction? Pure rage. The normally composed doctor absolutely lost it on her sister, accusing her of being the worst type of parent. And honestly, after that comment, who could blame her? Even Finnegan, who just learnt Luna was his biological daughter, appeared outraged at his aunt's callousness. The community rallies against Bill. What's actually astonishing about this plot is how it's united everyone against Bill. We're talking about families who ordinarily can't stand each other, all joining together in their common contempt. Ridge Forrester actually agreed with what Hope Logan said, and that never happens. The hospital encounters have been relentless. Hope accused Bill of having blood on his hands. Ridge warned him he'd finally gone too far. Even Sheila Carter managed to get in a few digs. And the worst thing for Bill, he knows they're right. Sources claim Don Diamant has been providing spectacular performances, illustrating Bill's utter breakdown as the weight of his actions crushes him. What led to this catastrophic decision? Let's break down the domino effect that led to this calamity. Bill assumed Luna was his daughter after she faked paternity testing. Classic soap move, right? But here's where it gets problematic. Bill knew Luna had already committed murders. He knew she'd slain Tom Starr and Paul Hollister. He knew she'd framed her own mother. But Dollar Bill thought he could cure everything with his money and influence. He twisted levers to get her released to his mansion, believing he could keep her under control. How'd that work out for you, Bill? The shooting that changed everything. The confrontation that ended Luna's life was classic soap opera gold and utter tragedy. Luna attempted to kill Steffi, but when that plan went haywire, she ended up shooting Sheila in the foot and Liam in the chest. But here's the twist nobody saw coming. Liam, despite being badly injured, managed to shoot Luna in self-defense. She died in surgery, bringing her reign of terror to an end but leaving devastation in her wake. Where does Bill go from here? With Liam in a coma and the entire community against him, Bill Spencer's future looks bleaker than ever. This isn't something he can buy his way out of. This isn't a business deal gone bad that he can smooth over with a payment. This is personal. This is family. This is unforgivable. Some are thinking that Bill might actually depart Los Angeles. Can you imagine? Bill Spencer, driven out the town by his own shame and the community's hatred? Others say he'll double down and try to make amends, but honestly, how can you come back from this? The ripple effects continue. The devastation stretches well beyond simply Bill and Poppy. Finn is coping with the realization that his biological daughter became a killer. Steffi is horrified from nearly being Luna's victim. Lee is upset at her sister's parenting shortcomings. Hope and Steffi are actually agreeing on something. And let's not forget that Liam is still battling for his life. If he doesn't make it, Bill best leave town because there won't be a safe place for him anywhere in Los Angeles. Fan reactions are mixed but passionate. Social media has been on fire since these episodes aired. Some fans are defending Bill, stating that he was deceived by Luna's lies about paternity. But the majority? Their team, Bill got what he deserved. One particularly outspoken admirer tweeted, "Bill Spencer freed a known killer and put her in his house. What did he imagine would happen? A tea party." Meanwhile, comments to Poppy's "glad she's dead" comment varied from understanding to extreme hatred. The gap among the audience parallels the divide in Los Angeles, and that's what makes this drama so interesting. There are no easy answers here. No obvious heroes or villains. Just flawed people making stupid decisions with horrible outcomes. What's next for the pariahs of Los Angeles? As we head into next week, the big uncertainties remain. Will Bill strive to make apologies, or will he retreat into isolation? Can Poppy rebuild her connection with Lee after that unexpected statement? And most crucially, will Liam survive, or will Bill have to live with the ultimate consequence of his actions? One thing's for certain. Bill Spencer and Poppy Nozawa have become the most disliked persons in Los Angeles, and in a community that includes Sheila Carter. That's really saying something. The hospital encounters are just the beginning. With emotions running this high and consequences this severe, we're in for weeks of intense drama. Will redemption be possible? Can Bill ever earn the community's trust? Or are some mistakes simply too large to forgive? Buckle up, soap aficionados. This trip is far from finished, and if history has taught us anything, it's that the bold and beautiful writers aren't afraid to push things to the next level. With Bill and Poppy becoming public enemies #1, anything could happen next. Bill Spencer had always believed that money could repair anything, reputations, relationships, even fatal disease. But as he stood in the dim hospital hallway, transfixed by the notification flashing on Grace Buckingham's phone, $1 million received, Spencer Publications wire transfer confirmed. A cold shiver ran down his spine, and not because of the money he'd just burned, but because of the way Grace's expression shifted. It wasn't the calm determination of a confident surgeon. It was relief. Desperate, frightening relief. The kind you only see when someone just dodged ruin. The type that shouted something is terribly very wrong. Moments before the wire, Grace had promised him that the surgery, a bold, experimental treatment not yet approved by the FDA, may shrink Liam's incurable brain tumor and perhaps save his life. But the facts had been sketchy, the documentation thinner than the lies Luna had constructed about her parentage. Still, Bill had no choice. Liam lay comatose, his life hanging by strands of failing brain activity and half-functioning organs. The gunshot had just aggravated the tumor, and every second felt like a countdown to death. But Grace's reaction? It unlocked a box of red signals that even Bill, muddled by grief and remorse, couldn't ignore. And neither could Dr. John Finn Finnegan or Bridget Forrester, who had already argued with Grace behind the scenes, thinking she was breaching medical ethics. Finn was especially skeptical. She was the same woman who had earlier sought to manage Steffi's prenatal care after a paternity crisis. Bridget had delved through the medical logs, only to uncover missing entries, unverified scans, and ghost test results. The concern was building, and so was the strain. But what really lighted the match? Grace's financial history. A covert visit from Ridge Forrester to a high-end LA banker revealed that Grace's funds had been locked barely days before. Massive debt, anonymous offshore threats, all related to none other than her disgraced ex-husband Reese Buckingham, the same man who faked Hope Logan's baby's death to pay off gambling debts. Now, his ex-wife was overseeing Bill Spencer's only son's brain surgery? It was a hoax ready to implode.